I think it was Muriel Rukeyser, the American poet and feminist, who once famously said, "The world is not made up of atoms, it is made up of stories." We rarely calculate or even consciously think about how our whole lives and lifestyles are based on stories which we have made for ourselves and then taught ourselves to believe in. If you think a little, you will see all great things like nations and corporations and ideologies and money are all stories in which we believe. Even the theory of gravitation is at the fundament a story. Nobody has seen gravity pulling things towards each other. They have only seen its effects. And Newton thought up a story to explain why those effects happen as they happen. Now, in the olden days, until very recently, wonderful stories which were perhaps cooked up in the dim mists of prehistory used to be handed down from generation to generation through our grannies and our grandpas. And we in Bengali we have wonderful collections like Thakuma Jhuli on which children were brought up, and it is only very recently that they have been deprived of such treasures. And now, what do we hear? We hear famous experts on management saying, the greatest skill that CEOs of very big corporations have, they have the skill of storytelling. And we say, ha ha ha, that has always been true. Now, here's talking about CEOs and corporations. Here's a story which some of you might smile at. There was a team of engineers from America who had gone over. They were workers of Ford Motor Corporation, and their management was very worried about why Toyota Motors was taking over all their business from them and flooding America with Japanese-made cars. So they went to learn the secret of Toyota Motors, and they were shown around very graciously by Toyota engineers. And after they had learned so many of the magic tricks of the Japanese, the Americans asked the Japanese, "Where did you learn all these skills from, these wonderful tricks from?" And the Toyota engineers almost split their sides laughing. They said, "Don't you know? Haven't you read? We learned all these things from the books written by your Henry Ford." Now think about it. How much you lose, how much you stand to lose if you don't read books. The engineers of Ford Motor Corporation had not learned the tips and tricks that their own founder had left behind for them to make use of. In my own life, I have seen my mother brought me up on a very rich diet of diverse stories, and I never knew that she was educating me. For instance, to give you just one example, I was surprised to find that there was a very important chapter in my high school biology where we had to read about the evolution of life and how Darwin's theory of natural selection and survival of the fittest explained how life has evolved in this world. And I was amazed, and this is supposed to be sophisticated scientific learning. Why? My mother showed me picture books and told me the story when I had not even been admitted to school before I was 5 years old. So that's what stories do for you. Make education so easy, apart from being much more interesting than blind rote learning from books. Uh, Even to appreciate jokes, many of you will find this surprising, but even to appreciate a good joke, you often have to know a great deal of stories that form the background to the joke. For example, when a Jewish man is asked, why are Jews so fond of carrying around their fiddles with them? And fiddle is something like a violin. Why are Jews so fond of carrying around fiddles with them? We understand that you love music, but why do you carry around fiddles only, and why not some other musical instrument? And the Jew replied with a sardonic smile, because it is very hard to keep running with a piano on your back. Now, nobody who does not know about the intense, immense persecution that Jews have faced over centuries and millennia, when they had to pick up their house and home, lock, stock, and barrel, and run for their dear lives. How pathetic, how sad, how ironic a joke this is. So that is the value of stories. This is why I want to get people interested in listening to stories, in reading stories. I don't mind even if they don't read. These days, there's a wonderful wealth of audio books on the net. So even if people listen to stories, as some people are doing, I can see, that would be wonderful. But the old tradition is coming back, that people are making stories and people are telling stories, and a lot of people are not only being entertained but being richly educated without knowing it by telling stories. There's a famous line in the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling, where it says that Mowgli was being taught by his two great teachers, Bagheera the Black Panther and Balu the Bear. And Kipling says he learnt at the speed with which children can learn when they do not know that they are being educated. That's a wonderful line. I wish many more teachers in this world, in this country, understood the meaning, the significance, the importance of that line. I shall end this particular podcast with a very little story which some of my students have heard, but a lot of people haven't. The story is based in London. There was this middle-aged businessman who went on a holiday trip to Spain. And some of his friends told him, we'll take you for a visit to the house of a very great old painter who lives in a castle on top of a hill in the south of Spain. And so he went, and to make the long story short, he was absolutely starstruck to see the old man's beautiful young wife. He was infatuated, and he decided on the spur of the moment, he forgot about everything else, the party, the old man himself, what he heard and saw there. The only thing that became fixated in his mind was, I must have this woman somehow. And of course, for that, he had to first get the old man out of the way. So what did he do? He came back to London, and he stroked some contacts to find what we in India would call a supari killer, a mercenary, to do the hit job for him. And this mercenary met him in a secret dungeon somewhere below a seedy hotel, and said that I want £1 million and $500,000 up front, and tell me the name and the location, and I'll do your job for you. And the man asked, are you sure you can do it? And the man said, I have killed 32 people already. Why can't I kill another one? But rest assured, the job is over. The next time I call you, don't try to contact me. I will call you. But when you come, be sure to have the other $500,000 ready. And so he went away, and this man spent an agonizing month worrying. This was in the days long before the internet, and he did not read Spanish newspapers, so he had no idea what was going on, whether the man had simply made off with his money or not. And then one day, suddenly there came a call, your job is done, come with the money. And he went to meet the supari killer again, and the man said, have you got the money? And very tremblingly he said, of course, the money is ready, but have you killed the man? Have you done my job? And the man said, of course, when I say I'll do something, I do it. And then he produced a newspaper which showed the dead body of the old man lying on his carpet in his living room with a bullet hole through the front of his head. And this young British businessman, he said, I hope nothing went wrong. I said, what should go wrong? I'm a skilled professional. I told you, when I promise to do a job, I deliver. So anyway, give me the money and I'll go. And never try to contact me again. I never do two jobs for the same man. And then he got up and he was about to go, and he was about to pull the door shut behind him. And then he turned around and said, oh, you are asking about trouble? Well, there was a little trouble, if you call it trouble. You didn't say that someone else was living with the old man in his house. I had just killed the man. I was cleaning up when suddenly there was this rather good-looking woman who came in and started screaming. And of course, I couldn't leave behind any eyewitness, so I shot her too. Now think about that ending. This story is my adaptation of a story called No Comebacks by Frederick Forsyth. And well, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see what the responses are. Thanks for listening.